Hello, Oikos families. Welcome to episode 3 of the Oikos Family Podcast. I'm excited that you stopped today because I want to talk to you about something that I'm absolutely convinced you're going to identify with, because I don't think there's a family out there that would not identify with this particular question, and that is, what to do? My children are fighting all day long and I'm exhausted. I actually had a mom contact me, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, that said that she'd only just started home educating this year and she's already exhausted. So she thinks maybe this isn't a great idea. So what I want to do today is I want to chat to you about that. And I also maybe would like to chat to your children about that. But you as the parent can decide whether you think this is a good idea or not for your children to listen to this particular podcast. But let me talk to you, the parent, because this is what this is about. I would like to talk to you in the hopes to help you in your day and in your learning lifestyle journey. And after all, this is Oikos Family Podcast, so it's all about the family. So we would like to support you. In case you don't know who you're listening to by now, I'm sure you possibly do, but anyway, I'm Sonja Wood, and I have been involved in this home education journey because our children were raised their entire lives being home educated. I was partially home educated, and we started and pioneered home education in South Africa. When I say we, I include a couple of other families as well. I literally mean a couple, not that many families. That was in 1989 when this whole idea of pioneering home education in South Africa, that's when we became involved. Okay, so enough of the history. Let me get to today's topic. Today's topic's title is Stop. And it's actually quite serious because I'm really asking you to please stop. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. But for now, if I can ask you to just stop and just sit down and take a break and get yourself some nice tea or something to drink, because I would like to share with you on this topic of sibling rivalry. And I'm going to use an acronym with the word STOP. So each letter I'm going to spend some time on, the S and the T and the O and the P. And I want to just let you know that this is sort of like a little theme that we used all the way through our home education. We came up with acronyms. I'll tell you how that actually happened. It didn't happen because it was a great idea that I had. It happened because our daughter was chronically ill most of her childhood. And when we needed to communicate in sensitive situations, like in a hospital and with doctors and nurses, her and I had a little plan whereby I would use a word that her and I understood what it meant. So she didn't have to feel in any way compromised. So in the environment that she was in, I won't go into the details of that. Let me just share with you how this worked and why I'm sharing it with you today. Okay, so and that's what I'm going to let me just come back to stop. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go to this word stop. And we're going to use it for answering the question about sibling rivalry. And that's why I asked you if you could think about sharing this with your children. Because if we start with S and we put words that are going to be supporting the moment of sibling rivalry. So in other words, it could be words such as sensitive or siblings or stop or still. Just you can go and do a little bit of research yourself and decide which word would be an appropriate word for this S. Then you move on to T, and you could find another word that would be a good word to match the letter T, such as talk or teach or time. All right, you're getting the idea. We move on to O, obey. That's a good one. Now you want them to obey when mommy talks and says to them, now come children, let's not have the strife. The previous podcast I spoke about peace in the home, which addressed the matter of strife, episode 2. And now I'm moving on from episode 2 and keeping on the theme of stopping the strife in the home, and specifically focused on sibling rivalry or children that are fighting with each other. So we were on O, back to O. Obey could be a word. Obliging, let's be obliging, not otherwise. Oh, there's another word, otherwise. Objective, what is the objective of us stopping? See, there's lots of O's you could work with. Okay, let's move on to P. All right, some words for P would be maybe please or pleasing or pleasant or peaceful or playful Okay, so now you can take any one of those words or any others that you might find. I'm just going to pick 4 now. Sensitive, time, obey, and peaceful. All right. So now when you say the word stop to your children, because there's something that has risen up, an argument or a dispute of some kind, and you say to your children, stop, children, but you say it kindly and sweetly and gently with love. You just say to them, now stop, children. Now, all of a sudden, because you've had a family meeting about this and because you've gathered around and maybe the children are listening now, and this is a little key that I'm wanting to give you, this stop word. I'd like to give you more of these acronym ideas throughout our podcast episodes because of the fact that just they were so supportive in our lifestyle, and I'm hoping that maybe they would help you. In fact, we were at a mom's retreat some months back, and the whole weekend we spoke about this at the mom's retreat, acronyms, and I was so amazed to hear moms coming up with their own acronyms, ones that they knew would work for that particular child and their family. So they were only using a particular acronym for a particular child, not the whole family. But in this instance, I'm talking about STOP for the whole family. So now there's strife or there's something that's not where it should be, not as it should be. And so you just say, you, the parent, or even one of the children, just say stop. Remembering that the word stop must be with a lot of kindness and love. It mustn't be an angry stop. It must be a kind and pleasant stop. Now, all of you know that stop has meant, let's be sensitive now. Let's stop what we're doing and be sensitive. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the objective is for us. What are we doing here? We're stopping the strife. And let's just bring peace back in the home. Or let's be pleasant with one another. Or let's please God. You see, I used a whole lot of P's there for your stop. And so that's what I wanted to encourage you with, is to just give you this one little acronym today, the STOP acronym. I'm going to ask you to please practice it. I'm going to ask you and the children to maybe just put this into practice. Just try it. See if it works. Say to one another, okay, let's use STOP to put an end to the strife in our home, to put an end to the fighting, to put an end to the tension. Because, stop is putting an end to something. We stop what we're doing right here and now. Stop this fighting, stop this arguing, stop whatever is unpleasant. You see, unpleasant, and let's change it to pleasant. Let's change the atmosphere to pleasant. Let's talk about it. Let's remember the objective. Let's obey what mommy is saying, what she is teaching. There's the T. So I don't need to emphasize it anymore because I know by now you have got this acronym STOP, and I really hope that you're going to put it into practice. And even if you do or if you don't, I'm just grateful that you stopped by to listen today, and I'm here to always hope that we bring some little treasure, some little tip, something that you can use in your day for your learning lifestyle. And we're not going to be bringing these podcasts every single day, so just when you do hear them, I hope we will always leave something for you that will be able to support you in this journey of you teaching your children at home. Because ultimately, you might have heard in our introduction that ultimately the objective for us with these podcasts is to do this very thing, and that is to stop and to share with you what we can to support you in your journey so that you're going to have a peaceful one and a pleasant one and a lovely journey in home educating your children, and that it's going to be just fantastic. We're only in February at the moment while we're doing this podcast, and in some instances, somewhere in the world, you're in the middle of your school year, as they call it. In South Africa, where we are from and where we live, this is just the start of the year. So we got some moms that maybe aren't at the end of themselves by this stage because they're starting out enthusiastically. But I'm here to remind you through these podcasts not to become exhausted like the mom who's only been going a month and she's already questioning whether she should put her children back in school because she's exhausted from their fighting. So I hope that mom's listening, and I hope other moms that might identify with that mom will be able to take this little suggestion of using the STOP word and start applying it in their home. And I really, really hope that the result of this is going to be that you are just going to have a fantastic time. You're going to all have peace in your home and not strife. And I shared a little poem that we used in our family in episode 2 of our podcast, about a little poem we used to say that starts with, "Oh, thy hideous monster sin." And that was a little poem we used to say to one another. So to stop the trouble that was coming. So I really hope that you're going to find in your family ways to your own special ways to stop the strife and to quickly throw out the door the things that don't belong, the things that are causing the peace to flee, and actually invite the peace back in and have peace in your home and have a wonderful learning lifestyle experience. So for today, thank you for listening. I'm so glad you could join me. I've enjoyed my cup of tea with you. I do really have a lovely hot cup of tea with me while I'm chatting to you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.